I'm not the best cook in the world, I have to say, but recently I was cooking soup and the first attempt was an absolute disaster. I had to drink about 3 litres of water after I ate it because it was so full of salt. So I tried it again and I got a bit better. And then I tried it again and I got even better. And the fourth one was amazing. And this got me thinking recently about how cooking, making art, and selling art are very similar. So, this is what I want to talk about in today's episode. So, when I was thinking about making and selling art as I was cooking the soup, I have to say it's one of the things that I've learned massively over the years, these similarities with cooking and making and selling. And it's really helped me, especially when things are going wrong and I don't know how to fix it, or I can't find the point of why something's going wrong or the alternative if something's going well. So when we start out making art, like cooking, for me anyway, it was a case of trying different things. So if you've never cooked before, there's all these different ways of cooking. You can use a frying pan, you can use a stove, you can use an air fryer, you can use all these different tools. And then there's all these different ingredients, and there's all these different cuisines, Japanese and Thai and Mexican, rice, and so very similar to art making in that the ingredients are very much like the art materials. And if I cook with rice, there are many ways that I can cook that rice to produce a different flavor, a different look. And that's the same with art. Acrylic, you can use acrylic in so many different ways to get a different outcome. And so the materials are the ingredients. And then the techniques that you use are very similar to cooking. Like we can fry that rice with vegetables, or we could mix it with vinegar, cook it, wrap it up so it becomes sushi. And so the art making process is very exciting at the beginning of coming into it, or any stage actually, because we have these stages, and I'm going through this with cooking. I've had a break from cooking and I'm going back to it thinking, oh, I'll make a casserole, I'm going to make a soup, I'm going to make some curry, I want to make some cakes. It's exciting. And that's the art process. I think sometimes when we've had a break as well and we come back and it's like, oh, I want to have a go at this and I want to have a go at that. Or if you're coming to art for the first time even. And there's nothing wrong with that, because it gets us back into creating, making, testing, eating. Oh, I like this, I'm not very good at this, oh, I find this boring. And so when we make different types of art, using different materials, using different techniques, like cooking, we start to find where our strengths are, what makes us excited, what tastes good. Hopefully you're not eating your art materials, but in terms of, that feels good, or I like the outcome of that. And so also, what tends to happen is when you first make that dish, this is me anyway, I'm not going to invite 20 people over to eat that meal with me when it's the first time I've cooked it. No way, no way. So I would test it out first. And that again is very much like art. We test things out before we put it out into the world. And then what happens with cooking, for me anyway, like the soup, I'll make the soup. Now, if I'd made that soup and it was really rubbish, and then I just tossed it to one side and thought, I'm just going to go and make something different now, I would never have got to the fourth version of the good soup. And that came from going back to the soup and asking myself, right, why did that not work out? And I realized, well, because my mouth was so dry. It was obvious. It's the salt. There was just too much salt in it. But I only know this from experience. And again, as an artist, some things sometimes you think, oh, I don't know why this isn't working. But over time, like with the salt, you'll learn. It's just I've mixed too much water in with the paint. The paint needs to be thicker next time. It's come out too translucent. So from focusing on the soup, and this is what I want to share, because this is one of the big lessons that I've learned. about not changing too many variables. If we keep swapping and changing and then push the soup to one side and go to the curry, and then we make a rubbish curry and go, I'm going to go and do sushi now. We just keep batting around. We don't learn from any of those trials. And by then looking at the soup, and I go, right, next time I'm going to change just a couple of variables. I'm going to use less soup and cook it just for a little bit less time. And I'm going to make it again. And the next one was, oh, okay, that's better, but I think it needs to be thicker. It was really watery. So next time I'm going to leave the lid off and I'm going to simmer it for a bit longer. I want it a bit thicker. And it's the same with the art making process. You know, for every piece that you create, when you start to fine tune and go, right, next time I'm going to use complementary colors in this area, or next time I'm going to shift the composition and I'm not going to have everything in the center. I'm going to move everything off a little bit. Or next time I'm going to be creating more contrast in this piece. I want these two to really kind of oppose against each other. And when you keep fine tuning in that way, that's when you make an amazing dish. That's when you make great soup. And if we change too many variables, so I'm going to take that soup, next time I'm going to change all the ingredients, I'm going to cook it for an hour longer. Instead of using that saucepan, I'm going to use a pressure cooker. Instead of using a wooden spoon, I'm going to use a metal spoon when I stir. You know, if we change too many things, the soup comes out. If it's better or if it's worse, we're not going to know why, because we've changed too many variables. We've done too many things and we have no clue. Was it because I cooked it longer, because of the ingredients? And remembering this has been crucial to my art making, to selling, to all the things, because when I'm adjusting things, I do a few things at a time. So I know exactly why this is working or why it's not working. And the fewer variables you change, the better. Now, it could be that it feels that in the long run, you know, this is such a tiring exercise where I've got to tweak again and tweak again and tweak again. But you learn so much from those tweaks. Whereas if you keep changing lots, you never really know what it is that isn't working or what is working. So you can't replicate it. And so in art terms, in effect, what you are doing is you are creating your own recipe for your own artwork. And that's what a gallery is looking for usually. Because if you have a chef and they've just created this amazing dish and they've never made it before and it was a one-off, can you make that dish again? Because you don't want to go and open a restaurant going, I've created this amazing dish, and then when you try and create it again, you can't remember what you did and it's a flop. And that's why a gallery is looking usually for consistency in an artist, because they want to know that you've nailed your recipe. They don't want to take an artist on who goes, actually, yeah, this was a fluke. I only made this once. They want to know that you've nailed your recipe and that you can keep churning out work so they can keep selling it for you. So in terms of the selling side, it's very similar, because thinking about the variables, and if you put your artwork into a city gallery where your prices are really, really high, they're the highest they've ever been. It's a particular type of art. Maybe it's a series of boats and you don't sell anything. So you go away and you think, right, I'm going to slash my prices in half. I'm going to create some new work now, and I'm going to create a load of birds. I'm going to put this into the local market, and I'm actually going to change the size of these and make them much bigger. Now, again, if you sell or if you don't sell, the problem is you have no idea why. You have nothing to measure. And I see people doing this where they swap and change, and then they go somewhere else and try all these different things. And now I'm going to go here. And it's difficult then to learn from your trials and what you're doing. So the fewer variables that you change, the better, because then you can discover if, for example, it's selling. There are a few factors that affect selling. One is the price, two is the market. And by the market, I mean buying habits, what's happening in the world right now, economies, and what's happening in galleries, what's happening online. Buying habits are changing. We're seeing that. That's the market. Messaging, that's the way you're marketing yourself. That's the way that you're communicating the value of your work, the purpose of your work, hitting that sweet spot and communicating that messaging. And people go, oh, yeah, I get it. This is what I want. And then the people or the place is another one. So getting the work in front of the right people, getting it into the right place. And then there's the work itself as well. So these are factors like cooking that we can measure, and we can start to adjust bit by bit and see what effect that has. And then you start to learn by either something working or it not working. What was it? That was the price. I doubled the price and now I'm selling. Wow, I didn't know my work was too cheap. So when you start to learn from the mistakes and learn from what's going well, that's where you refine and you keep making your dishes better and better and better and better. And here's the thing. If you make a soup and it's rubbish, you can make another one. Just like if you make a rubbish artwork, or if you sell or you put your work in a place and it doesn't sell, you can do it again. You can get up and do another soup and learn from those trials that you already carried out. So that's the message today. To really think about cooking and also changing variables at a slow rate. I'm always now doing this and measuring and asking myself, what was it? Was it the market? Was it this that's changed? And in fact, we just did a big event recently, and I purposefully kept everything identical so that I could see whether the market has changed, because people around at the moment keep saying, no one's buying, the market, there's this crisis. And so I purposely repeated a event that I know always works to see whether less people sold into it. And that's me learning, and I'm testing. And sometimes it can feel like a real laborious time waste, but it really isn't. It sharpens you up and really teaches you a lot. So go and make some soup and let me know if you've got any winning ingredients for a really good soup. No, have a lovely, lovely day and lovely, lovely week, my friends, and I'll speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.